Good afternoon, folks. I wanted to take a minute and talk about a connection I believe is present between highly sensitive people, empaths, and mental illness, especially mood disorders, like bipolar disorder, for example. Now, I speak about bipolar from a personal perspective because I both had bipolar and beat bipolar. I also speak about being an empath from a personal perspective because I am a highly sensitive empath. And I do see the correlation, at least in my own life. And as I asked members of our own group, they also saw the correlation. So I thought it would be good to take a minute and talk about highly sensitives, empaths, and how these special conditions can create an environment that leads to mental illness, where for someone who wasn't highly sensitive or an empath, they would not. So stick with me for a couple of minutes and let's talk about being an empath, being highly sensitive, and how that may lead to, or at least create conditions in which you are more likely to develop a mental illness. Hey folks, let's dig in a bit. And let's start by talking about what it means to be a highly sensitive person and an empath. Let's also talk about the differences, because they tend to get grouped together. Highly sensitive people are people that feel, on the outside, the emotions and sometimes pain of the people around them. They're also highly sensitive to light, sound, often highly sensitive to the changes of the moon phase. They're sensitive to their environment around them, but it is sensitivity to things on the outside. An empath is a bit different. They're also highly sensitive to the things around them. They're highly sensitive to light and sound. They're highly sensitive to the phase of the moon. The difference between a highly sensitive person and an empath is a highly sensitive person experiences these things as something on the outside, where an empath absorbs these things inside of them and experiences these things inside their own body, their own emotions, and their own mind. Often not able to differentiate the difference between their own emotions and the emotions of the people around them, their own physical pain or their own ailments and the physical pain and ailments of the people around them. Both highly sensitive people and empaths tend to show a lot of empathy. They tend to be caring and sensitive people. They also tend to be more creative than the general population. That's also true for people with bipolar. Now, I believe this connection between highly sensitive and empaths and bipolar extend to other mental illnesses, specifically mood disorders. Depression, for example, severe depression, or monopolar bipolar, where you just have depression. Schizophrenia is another example, where imagine you're living your life and you're experiencing not only your own emotions, not only the pain of your own physical body, but that of everyone around you. Now imagine if you're growing up in an abusive and traumatic home, or you live in a traumatic environment, or the people around you are experiencing high levels of trauma. As an empath, you experience all of that within your own body. So I believe that correlation between highly sensitives, empaths, and mental illness is found in how we experience trauma differently. And everybody experiences trauma differently. In fact, two people can go through the exact same experience, and one of them has trauma as a result, and the other has memories as a result. What is that difference? I believe a big difference is being an empath or a highly sensitive, because you're experiencing so much more than people who are not. especially if you're drawn to your natural person to be drawn to, which is a narcissist. So many empaths, both in childhood and adulthood, are victims of narcissistic abuse. It's this type of abuse in the way they experience trauma that ultimately leads to that rupture. Now, we know in this group, and we know among those who have suffered with severe mental illnesses, that these often become manifest in the teenage years, or they will say more severe. Truth is, many people don't experience any symptoms at all of mental illness, but they do experience symptoms of being an empath. Our moods change more often than people are not because we're affected by the moons around us. We're even affected by the moon. So we tend to have more fluid emotions. Some people will confuse this for polarity, when no, it's just simply experiencing all these different things around us. One of the things that I have had to learn to become healthy is how to become what I like to call an empowered empath. And that's an empath that has all of the capabilities of an empath, but is able to control whether or not they experience the energy and emotions around them. For example, when I was bipolar and full moon would come, I had to take the next day off. It would just wipe me out. That's no longer the case. Now, part of it is because I'm no longer bipolar, but part of it is I have learned to go through experiences and know they're present without them entering my body. I am capable of being around people who experience difficult things, traumatic things, without experiencing it in my body. I'm still aware that they're challenged. You can even learn as an empath to be able to isolate the individual emotions of the people around you. So you don't need to feel all their junk. You can still feel their love. You can still feel their kindness. And you can see the goodness in them. So, a big part is becoming an empowered empath. That's some of the things we teach and train in our programs, is how to go from being a victim as an empath to being empowered. Learning to use the gift, the beautiful gift of being an empath, to improve your life and to improve the lives of the people around you. Now, we work directly with people in a coaching and training environment to teach them these skills, to teach them the skills they need to live what we call the optimal human experience. And that is a life free of physical pain, mental pain. It's a life of abundance. It's a life where we are empowered empaths. We have healthy bodies. We have healthy minds. I was once told while I was going through the process of healing the trauma to heal the bipolar, I was really discouraged at one point, and I told my psychologist, you know what, when this thing's over, I better have superpowers. I better be able to shoot lightning out of my eyes or something. There needs to be some payoff for this hard work. And you know what he told me? The superpower you achieve by beating bipolar is mental health. And you know what? He was absolutely right. So be encouraged, folks. I hope this helps, and I hope this answers some of the questions. Why I believe there is that correlation between highly sensitive people and empaths. If I wasn't clear in the video, it's trauma. It's the way we experience trauma. It's the way we experience difficult things in life in a much more traumatic way than people who are not highly sensitive and people who are not empaths. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It's actually very important. We're trying to reach as many people as possible with this message, and YouTube shares what's popular. So as you like and subscribe, that means more people are going to have access to the information we're sharing. Also, something I often don't talk about, but I think it's important in this video, this is what we do. This is my full-time job, is providing this information for people, showing them how I found mental health. But I also provide coaching, training, and we've built a community a private community of people who are also overcoming issues with mental health and are learning to live that optimal human experience. When I say we, I'm speaking of myself and my business partner, Dr. Eva Malinowski. So feel free to reach out to us. We're easy to find. And again, like and subscribe here on the channel. Provide your comments below. This really lets us reach more and more people. I'll see you inside the groups, and I'll see you in the next video. Be safe, take care, and God bless you. Bye-bye.